Keyhole, the Jack Douglas true television series that opens the doorways of the world we live in.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jack Douglas. All of us, I think, have had the desire to travel and see the world. But have you ever wondered what it would be like to go a step beyond, to actually live and work in a foreign country? For the answer, we take our cameras to the lands across the seas, in the footsteps of the restless Americans. Tens of thousands of our people who have searched for new frontiers to conquer in all parts of the world. This is their story, Americans Abroad. This is the harbor of Papeete, the capital of Tahiti, the same romantic Tahiti where all dreams supposedly come true. And for this typical Tahitian family, enjoying a Sunday picnic by the sea, the daydreams have indeed come true. This is where they live, in a small wood house with a thatched roof. It's also where they work, for they own and operate the Myanmar Dry Cleaning and Pressing Company. They consists of Susan Chappelle, an American born and raised in Monroe, Louisiana, and her husband, Jack Chappelle, a Frenchman born in France. Jack and Susan do most of the work, assisted only by a happy-go-lucky Frenchman who has gone completely Tahitian, John Lent. Susan was previously married and divorced. To get over the divorce, she went to France and there met Jack Chappelle. They fell in love, married, and moved to San Marino, California, where they rented this large house. Well, Susan played bridge, Jack got a job as a sales engineer with an airline in Los Angeles, and together they fought the traffic on the Hollywood freeway. It wasn't an exciting life. In August of 1960, they came to Tahiti on a vacation and fell in love with it. But how could they make a living here? A quick survey of business opportunities revealed that there wasn't a single dry cleaning shop in all of Tahiti. Jack was dubious. What did they know of dry cleaning? Susan was optimistic. They could learn. Well, gradually Jack surrendered. Tahiti does that to people. Returning to Los Angeles, they spent 6 months learning the dry cleaning business at the Crestwood Cleaners, owned by some friends. Then back to Tahiti with their brand new dry cleaning equipment which had eaten up their entire joint savings. Putting the equipment together was a nightmare, and there wasn't anyone in all of Tahiti who could help them. But from the dozens of diagrams and photographs, they managed to piece together the first dry cleaning plant in Tahiti, and it was strictly do-it-yourself. In Susan's daydreams, it seems it all took place ages ago, yet it was only yesterday. But now let's return to the present. Her day begins with a simple breakfast in the patio with her 2 daughters. The youngest, Jacqueline, or Jackie, was born of Susan's marriage to Jack Chappelle. Judy, 17, is Susan's daughter by her first marriage. Shortly after these pictures were made, Judy would be enrolling at Louisiana State University, back to Mama's home state. But for now, school means a motorbike ride for both girls. After her daughters have left for school, Susan doesn't have far to go to report for work, just to the shop in front of the house. And business in Tahiti is informal.
Hello, Natalie. How are you?
And you?
Fine. Glad to see you. When would you like to have this?
Wednesday,
Good.
please.
Good. For Wednesday? This?
Susan Chappelle married a Frenchman and moved to Tahiti, but her accent is pure Louisiana. Let's listen in as she tells her friend Natalie what happened to the first big batch of dry cleaning after she and Jack had assembled the equipment.
Lots of them.
Well, maybe now, but in the beginning, I'll never forget the first time I tried this, loading the machine without Jack.
What happened?
we I put in a load of white, completely white clothes of Claude Dauphin, who was here making a film, and put the Darko in and turned the dials, set it for everything to go just as it should. And I stood back and watched, and all of a sudden, this was black in here in the sight glass where it should not be. So I screamed, "Jack, Jack, come quick!" And we opened the door, pulled out all of the clothes quickly, and put them aside because they were completely black. All the white clothes were completely black. We were so tired from working to keep them from drying. And finally we put them here and covered them with a blanket. And then turned on for the backwash and put the clothes back in, cleaned them, and they all came out white. That was a terrible day, yes. The worst day we've ever had.
Well, sir, as the saying goes, you ought to see her now. She presses and dry cleans clothes, she can repair any piece of equipment in the shop, and she even makes the deliveries in the panel truck that she and Jack were able to afford a few months ago. Yet, just a couple of years ago, this same attractive woman took up bridge to while away the days. Incidentally, before Susan and Jack opened their shop, tourists and residents of Tahiti who wanted clothes dry cleaned had to send the clothes some 2,500 miles, either to New Zealand or Hawaii. And sometimes it took 3 months to have the clothes returned. Now, guests at the hotels can have clothes pressed and even dry cleaned in a matter of hours. The same Tahiti hotel at night is where Susan and Jack spend an occasional night on the town. Their night to howl, so to speak, is Saturday night, and it generally consists of a quiet dinner at the hotel with their close friends, the Maurice Bazins. Then, after a leisurely dinner, the traditional Tahitian floor show. Now watch the eyebrow. You said it, Jack. After the floor show, Jack tries to explain the arched eyebrows business, while his Tahitian neighbors explain things barefooted. Susan has learned many things about her adopted home. For instance, when she goes shopping, she has learned to say, "Oh, but that's too expensive," no matter what price is quoted. When buying cloth, as in this case, she must ask questions like, "Is the color fast?" etc. Listen.
Oh, hello, Madame Chapelle. ¿Cómo ça va?
Bien, et vous?
Très bien, merci. What do you wish today?
Well, I need some linings.
Oh, you want some linen materials?
Yes.
What color do you want?
I'd like to look at some yellow material today.
You don't want some poplin, quality poplin, like
Yes.
prints like that? You look, it's very nice design.
Yes, it's very nice. Is it color fast?
Yes, the first color.
And how much is it?
That costs the price 112 francs 1 meter.
Oh, but that's too expensive. May I see
Il y en a,
this
c'est
one?
moins cher, c'est ça?
Now, why would Susan want entire bolts of cloth? Here was the answer. Practically the entire Chappelle house has been converted into a dressmaking shop. When his dry cleaning chores are finished, even Jack has to lend a hand. Here he's turning spaghetti straps for bikinis while John Lent is recruited to sew buttons. They keep threatening to quit, but Susan keeps them in line with Louisiana sweet talk. These clothes, which Susan designs, are for export.
Very nice. Très joli, Claire. Mais, it's a little bit too tight right here. Un peu trop serré.
Bon. Vous voulez faire élargir un peu, un centimètre?
Un peu.
Susan, you'll notice, isn't too confident of her French, which is why she keeps repeating herself in English.
Et la longueur de la jupe, ça va?
Un peu longue, oui.
Vous pouvez faire plus court alors. Vous trouvez c'est trop long ou trop court?
Yes, a little too short. Un peu court.
Ah, trop court, c'était plus long.
Oui. Et this dress, cette modèle, oui, c'est bien, mais un peu ici, a little more here. Un peu
Un peu plus décolleté?
Oui.
By day, the master bedroom is the shipping room of Susan's dress company. The name of the firm is Tutana of Tahiti, Tutana being the Tahitian name for Susan. The label, Bali High. And this sideline began when Susan sent a few Tahitian-style dresses to friends in Los Angeles. So now look what's happened. The symbolic spade of dirt is turned, and Susan and Jack begin construction of a new building for Tutana of Tahiti dresses, shirts, and bikinis. The workmen have a mighty tough straw boss, 3-year-old Jackie Chappelle. On Sunday afternoons, all work stops for the family of Susan Chappelle, an American living and working abroad. The Chappelles also own this small parcel of the beach, and someday, if all continues to go well, they hope to be able to build a beach house here by the sea. But for now, they just use the property for Sunday picnics and moonlight swimming during the weeknights.
Where did you learn to play that?
Mary taught me.
Say some more.
All right.
They keep an outrigger here on the beach property mainly for Jack's benefit. Jack is a skin diving bug, but he hasn't had any luck persuading Susan to take up the sport. He did manage to teach her how to handle the small outrigger, and Susan just paddles along to keep him company. Observing Susan Chappelle on this particular Sunday afternoon, we saw the picture of a woman content almost to the point of smugness. Yet who can blame her? It was only 5 or 6 years earlier that she found herself a woman whose marriage had failed and the mother of a daughter then approaching teen age. A trip to France had brought about a new love and a new marriage. A vacation trip to Tahiti had opened up a whole new way of life for this soft-spoken American from Monroe, Louisiana. A few days later, when we finally took leave of Susan Chappelle, her family and friends, the construction of the new building for her dressmaking company was still underway. By now, it's probably been completed, and we certainly hope the new business is going well. It couldn't happen to a nicer person than Susan Chappelle, a typical American abroad. The city of Paris. Perhaps no other foreign city has enticed as many Americans to live and work within its boundaries. And in this apartment house in the suburbs lives an American who is typical of the many Americans in Paris. His name is Dick Roberts, age 34, who drifted to Europe 5 years ago to seek new opportunities. He worked in London for a time with an advertising agency, then came to Paris to take a position with a French company that specializes in making unusual television commercials. Notice, by the way, the separate hearing device he's using. That's almost a must with most French telephones. Like most Americans mastering French, he has a habit of repeating words and phrases in English, just as Susan Chappelle did. Here's how Dick gets his exercise, bicycling to work and back again. He lives about 20 minutes away from his office and in the winter uses a car. This small side street is the entrance to the studios where Dick Roberts works, the studios of Cineast Associates. As usual, Dick is early, an American habit that some of his colleagues find it difficult to understand. Bob Curtis, another American working at Cineast, has ideas for a character needed in the commercial that he and Dick Roberts have been developing. He sketches the character.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Put the guy in the middle?
Put the guy in the middle, kind of close up. Big close up.
Good.
Just on his face.
Yeah.
See some of the hat.
Yeah.
Like that.
Good. Put a mustache on him?
Yeah, big funny mustache.
Yeah, great.
Like that.
Good. How about his eyes?
Kind of something like that. Maybe.
Yeah. Sleepy?
Kind of sleepy, yeah.
Wait, let's mark.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah.
Should we use
Just
it?
like Marco. Oh, why not?
Maybe we can get
Why
him to
not?
do the thing.
Well, I don't see why not. Sure, he'd love to.
Oh, that's fine. That's it. That's fine, Bob. That's perfect. Perfect. Okay. I'll go right down to Jack and show it to him and see what he says about it. Okay?
Okay.
Great.
It's Dick's job to sell the boss on the idea. The boss is Jacques, or Jack Forgeot, the man who has revolutionized French television commercials. He organized the company about 4 years ago and immediately came to America to pick the nucleus he needed. He felt that American techniques blended with his own ideas would be an asset to his new company. Now, in America, most commercials are ordered by the sponsor, but Jack Forgeot added a new twist. He and his staff design and make the commercial first, then Jack will go out and sell it to the particular sponsor he has in mind. This commercial, which has been Dick Roberts' baby, is one that Jack feels is just right for a certain French after-dinner drink. Dick gets the go-ahead, and the actor selected as the main character in the commercial is brought in for tests and fittings. He's a popular French actor known simply as Marco.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe, hein? Ça va?
Ça va comme ça?
What do you think, Bob?
Fix the mustache there a little bit.
Should we pull on it a little bit?
Yeah, let it yank it.
Oh, non, forward. Plus. Ah, bon, comme ça.
Voilà.
Ah, c'est trop. What do you think? I think it's crazy.
I think it's pretty wide.
Huh? There we go. There we go.
Dick's wife, Huguette, spends most of the morning in the kitchen with the youngest of her 2 children and the maid who lives with the Roberts. Huguette is French-Canadian and was born in Montreal. Prior to marrying Dick, she was an airline hostess with Trans-Canada Airlines. After work and before supper, Dick joins his wife for some shopping at a nearby open-air market. They shop here virtually every night in the week for the reason that French housewives seldom buy more than what they will need for the next day. Now, this is especially true of vegetables and meats. Buying enough food for 3 or 4 days at a time is practically unheard of. We asked Huguette to tell us why this is so, and these were some of the answers she gave. The vegetables might be fresher the next day. The prices might be a little cheaper. Or they might be invited out to dinner at the last moment, and then the vegetables would be another day older. Well, the meat market is also an open-air affair, and when the clerk isn't looking, not a few of the customers deftly jab a finger into a slab of meat. It's like kicking the tires when buying a used car. It doesn't prove anything, but we do it just the same. So do they. This particular open-air market is full of vendors who simply load their merchandise on a wooden box and act as if they owned the whole market. Now this vendor is peddling fur headpieces, and who said men aren't vain? Dick demands a mirror, likes what he sees, and invites Baby to have a look. After supper, Dick tries to concentrate on a music theme he's been composing, or trying to compose, for the TV commercial. Huguette keeps interrupting with questions like, what did you do today? Did you meet anyone interesting? How is Bob these days? And of course, the complaint of housewives everywhere, why don't you talk to me? It's the same all over. Well, despite the questions, Dick seems to be making progress. Listen. About a week later, Dick and the boss and other staff members take a look at the finished product. It's quite a commercial. Yes, the boss loves it. This one is really a winner. A celebration is in order, and that night they adjourn to the Gaslight Club. The atmosphere here is 1890. The music is American and very, very hot. Dick and Huguette meet, of all people, some folks from Chicago, Dick's hometown. Well, what do you know, says Dick, and follows with the usual hometown kind of questions. We couldn't hear a word they were saying.
I'm the only one who has a Chicago.
The daughter's from Chicago, too. Well, that's
and Huguette come here frequently, and nobody minds when Dick sits in at the keyboard. He's a top musician and rates with the best. This, then, is the way they live. Susan Chappelle, an American from Monroe, Louisiana, who married a Frenchman and settled in Tahiti. Dick Roberts, an American from Chicago who married a French-Canadian and settled in Paris. Theirs are typical stories of Americans abroad. I sincerely hope, ladies and gentlemen, that you found our story of fellow Americans abroad interesting, entertaining, and informative. Next week, a totally different type of story, and I hope you'll be with us at the same time. Until then, thank you so much and good night.